Hello, hello, hello. Happy, what day is it, Sarah?
Thursday.
Thursday. Happy Thursday. Cheryl's had another makeover. She's gone blonde again, but with a very similar accent, so we're keeping it real. So it's Thursday. Welcome to Donna and Cheryl / Donna and Sarah TV. Sarah's normally watching this for lunch. Now she gets to be with me for lunch. So yes, welcome. And today we are going to be talking about how to be a leader but be yourself, which is really important, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only way you can lead is by being yourself. Otherwise, you don't show up as the real version of you, and everyone sees it. You can't hide.
I'm having a schlep at my lunch, sorry. No, you can't. And there's our Tara. And Tara and Sarah work together, don't you guys? So that's lush. And the reason I wanted to get you on is because people have, and it doesn't matter which level, which layer of leader we speak to, any organization, it's something that when we start on our leadership journey, we can get stressed out about because we'll go into a job. I used to see it all the time with the leaders in the contact center. They get the first promotion, they become a team leader, and then they seem to think that they had to have the manual that had the answer to everything, to every HR query, to every technical query, to every process query, to every customer complaint. And I used to say to them all the time, it isn't your job to know the answer. It's your job to be there for your people and guide them in the right direction to get that answer for themselves. Like, it's not your job to be the oracle. But you'd see that felt like they lacked credibility if they didn't know the answer. And then it's such a shame because I think the stress of feeling like that spoils us enjoying leadership, doesn't it? When you feel like it's all on me now, all eyes are looking at me, I have to know the answer. Have you found that?
Absolutely. I took on a new job in April, May time.
Yeah.
And it was an area that I knew nothing about. The team had all been there for 4 or 5 years. And I just thought, I'm going to come in and what the hell can I offer? I don't know their jobs. I don't know where they get their data from. I don't know what they're even talking about half the time.
It is quite technical as well, the area that you work in, which I always find really intimidating.
There's more acronyms than you can shake a stick at. Honestly, it's learning a new language. You might as well be learning French or Spanish or Swahili. It's totally different. But giving yourself that time to realize, actually, you don't need to know it. It doesn't matter if a leader before you has, or if other people expect you to. The team just need you to lead. They don't care what you know and what you don't know. But what you do know is how to help them and help them develop and help them grow and help them tell their story. They don't need us to do their job for them. That's what they get paid for. They just need us to be their leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found a lot with the leaders who did feel like it was their job to have the answers, the right answer. Actually, they would be the leaders that would just get inundated with noise and stuff because there would be constantly, like, physically people at the desk or people needing them, because it creates quite a needy culture, and it disempowers them from making decisions. I would find, like, at first you think it's great because you're showing your prowess that you know what you're talking about, and then you're like, they keep coming back. and it's a shame because it's, you know, we want them to think for themselves and act for themselves, decide for themselves, but if we're doing that for them, that inhibits that growth for them.
Yeah, and you see it, don't you, when you're in a meeting and there's senior members of staff there, there's more junior. The junior guys always stay quiet. They don't give an opinion because they expect the managers to know the answers.
Yeah.
And the managers only know a certain level. They don't know all the detail and what's actually happening. Yeah. The answers come from the bottom, the more junior guys. Like, their voice is more important than anybody's. Yeah. And sometimes they don't feel as if they can give it. We've got to give them room to give the voice.
If they've got it, and if you think, because I used to say all the time, like at Vodafone and stuff, like, I'm not talking to the customers all the time. Like, you know what's really going on. Like, that's the most important view of the world right now, because it gets distilled till it's just some stats on a report card somewhere. So encouraging that and having that culture of real. It's not about the badge. It's not about the level. It's about your layer of passion and insight and what you want to have happen with your customers ultimately. Yeah. So how do you, But this is like a big thing, and I see it in every single company that I go into, the hierarchy, where the decisions sit. Like, how do you go about changing that? And how did you go about doing it differently internally for you? I think is what everyone's going to want to know today, because whether you're leading a massive team, a small team, or your family, it's kind of the same. Because I'm like the fixer of the family. I like to have the answers, and I like to be the oracle for the family, which equally gets me into just as much stuck as if I was doing it in a business. So it's the same process, isn't it, of inner work, of trying to not feel like you have to have the answers for everybody. So what did you do and change, Sarah, to get that feeling better internally?
So mine, and this is honestly, mine all started last year when we did the imposter syndrome. That was like an aha moment for me. I had this, I think I called her Betty on my shoulder. And she was just nagging me all the time that I had to know everything. I had to be involved in everything, and I had to be the oracle. And it was like, no, actually, you don't. You're good at growing people and helping people develop, at really driving high performing teams. You don't have to know all that. And actually giving myself that release, that like letting go of that pressure massively helped. But going into this role, what really helped me, especially because of like going into it in COVID when everyone's working from home, this is all you see all day, somebody on a computer screen.
Yeah, God, yeah, of course. That's like totally different. Like, I've never had to do that before.
And the thing that worked for me most was just being vulnerable. So the first thing I did was got everybody in my new team onto a call and just shared how I felt. And it was so weird because as a leader, you don't normally show all of that vulnerability on day one to your new team. But to connect to people from this kind of environment, I thought that was just the best way to do it. And then they see me showing up as me, and then they know that what to expect from me moving forward, how I work, how I engage, and therefore how they should work and how they should engage. And I found that really useful.
How did you do that? Like, how did you get the bravery though to go, do you know what? I'm literally just going to be me. No airs and graces, no mission statements, no, this is my team, strategy, like that'll come. But first they need to know me, real me. How did you get to, like, how did you make that happen within you?
I said it out loud to myself. So having the courage to really say to yourself how you are truly feeling in this weird world at the moment, kind of what are your scares, what are the things that you're looking forward to, just how you're feeling in general. And I admitting it to myself was the first breakthrough because I'd been hiding behind it. And then knowing how relieved I felt after saying it out loud, repeating it to more people made me feel a sense of, actually, if I can release it more, then other people will release it. And actually this whole breathing and feeling more open, everyone will get to that. It was really scary putting yourself out there in front of a lot of people that weren't strangers to me, but had never seen me as the manager, the leader, and I had to instill that quite quickly. But by being vulnerable, I think it opened me up to them and them up to me equally.
So, because it's funny, isn't it? We often think if something feels scary that we shouldn't do it. Like, unless we've got every single risk assessment done, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's scary. That must mean that it's the wrong thing to do. But it's not, is it? Often, like, that's actually really the right thing to do. But we allow the scared feeling and what it will look like and what will people think and what will and what if I cock it up and what if they're judging us. And that's the bit that we then pull back from. I asked yesterday in the soul system about how lack of self-confidence manifests, and some of the common answers were really around the fear of failure and the fear of being the fear of being judged. So do you think you had those thoughts, like, what if this is a huge up and what if, like, the thing I'm completely doolally?
And anybody who knows me, one of my first fears is, will people even understand what I'm saying? With my trying to put on a very polished accent, but my Geordie.
As long as we understand each other, do you know what I mean? The rest of them can use subtitles. You can use apps for this now. Maybe we should do that business idea, Geordie apps. Like,
oh, I would love that.
Wouldn't that be nice? But yes, sorry, I interrupted. So that was the first fear of like, it is a thing though, when you've got a new team and you guys work across borders. So accent is a thing.
And then some of the team have known me for a bit longer and known me just as not a mate, but somebody who they could just come and talk to, somebody that they could bounce things off. And then suddenly to be their leader, kind of, it does change the relationship and how people perceive the relationship should be. So it's about kind of setting the new relationship and actually what you both want from the relationship, or you all want, and being really open about that as well. So do people want you to be a hands-on manager? Do they want you to be their cheerleader, their supporter to the wider company? Do they need you to be involved in battles every day? And having that conversation, then you work out what kind of leader your team needs as well, as opposed to just what the leader you want to be.
Yeah, I love that. So how has it felt? And do you think, obviously, like, from going into teams and integrating into them before, how does this feel different now from taking a different approach to what you had historically?
I honestly feel like I've got a different relationship with everybody in the team. And one of the guys who works for me, actually, I asked him what he was doing because he was on holiday for a week. And he went into great detail about spending time with his wife and the kids and what they were doing. And at the end, he said, I would never have felt comfortable telling my manager that before, because it was my personal life. It wasn't my work life. So I felt honoured that he felt he could share. But then also, I think by me sharing and me being open about my feelings and how things are impacting me, actually it allows everybody in the team to, and that has been awesome. I think that's been the best thing that's happened in this new role, in this new leadership.
I love that. But we set the tone by what we do, not by what we say. It's a bit like the old parents thing, isn't it? Like, your mum can tell you one thing till you're blue in the face, but if you see her behaving in a different way, or your dad, like, that's what you pick up. And we're no different. We're just older. So I love that you've given them permission to do and feel that by being brave, going through your discomfort, because it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, and you see it all through every organisation, don't you? The shadow of the leader. I work with some amazing leaders, and I always try to pick kind of which pockets of each of them do I want to try and mirror or learn from. And I think that's just normal. So actually, to be doing that ourselves and be really honest about what do I want people to see in me and want to emulate, I think that's really powerful.
It is. We've got a comment off Tara. Showing vulnerability is key. It helps others believe they're normal, exactly, as we all have fears. And that's so important though, Tara, because people would say to me all the time, oh, you're so confident, you'll stand up there, you'll do it. It's like, it doesn't mean that I felt confident stepping out and doing it. Like, it gets easier the more you do this stuff, right? But it's not that anyone doesn't have fears and doesn't have their monkey mind or their imposter brain going crazy. Like, we do, but you've just got to do it despite that.
It's like a learned thing, isn't it? It's a learned confidence.
Absolutely, because with confidence comes confidence, right? So Jo loves that too. And then we've got our other Jo on. Hey Jo, being vulnerable allows others to do that too. It builds trust. That's so true. And isn't it like that one statement of there used to be like my personal life and then my work life? Like, they shouldn't. Wherever we've got this dichotomy of people feeling that they have to be different people, we're not breeding the authenticity that we need just to be the real you, just wherever you are. Like, I mean, I've seen people outside of work before and they've been mortified that you're seeing them outside of an office because they haven't got the shoulder pads on or whatever. But isn't it? It's almost like this isn't me. Well, just be you, and then you won't worry where you see people. You might not feel like chatting to them, but like, it's still you. As long as I've got my eyebrows on now, I'm happy. But if anybody hasn't already watched it, I think one of the leading lights in talking about how vulnerability and courage and shame and all of that are part of the human experience is anything from Brené Brown. But the Netflix documentary, I think it's called A Call to Courage, someone will know, but that's absolutely amazing. It's like 50 minutes or something of just teaching you how how showing vulnerability and going there with people can really change your world. So it's a really good watch. But I have loved having you here today. How much fun was this? How much fun. So Sarah did this off the hoof today, completely unexpectedly. Michaela was going to come on, but she was poorly, so we will do Michaela's another day. And the universe then sent me a gift in a message from Sarah, and I was like, "Are you busy at 12:30? I really want to share this one with the world," which is amazing. Yes, it is a great film, Brooke. So for the rest of today, I hope you have a lovely day. We are putting in the link for you. In the comments, the link to the waitlist. So you've only got a couple of days left now for the waitlist for Supercharge Your Self-Confidence, which is a free 5-day coaching challenge. We're definitely doing it because we've had a lot of people sign up to the waitlist. It's going to be in September. It won't be the same week as the kids go back because I have one. But if you're on the wait list, you're going to get an extra special bonus that the guys who sign up later won't get. So if you like me and Cheryl and you would like a little bit more of us, get on the wait list. And you've got a couple of days left to sign up to that. And then you'll have to wait till the official launch. And if you watch our social media later, I'm going to leak out a few little photos from our photo shoot from last week. Obviously the ones where I feel like I look thinner, you know what I mean? So you can imagine what it's like with two women, can't you? When you go, I don't have any belly on that one. I've got back fat on that one. Yeah, but my hair looks bad on that one. Yeah, but mine looks great. So about 5,000 photos is 4 we like. Yeah, I'm only kidding. So, brilliant. Right, thank you so much, guys. Have a fabulous day. Mwah. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.